Every night, you promise yourself that tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow is the day you'll finally become disciplined. You'll wake up earlier, drink more water, meditate, journal, exercise, read 10 pages, review your goals, plan your day, organize your desk, open your productivity app, prepare the perfect environment. Because surely, this time, everything will finally click. And for a while, it feels like progress. Checking boxes, buying another planner, watching another productivity video, rebuilding your routine for the 5th time this month. It feels responsible. It feels disciplined. It even feels productive. But then, the day ends, and the one thing you actually needed to do still hasn't been touched. The project, the business, the assignment, the conversation, the dream you've been preparing for, without ever truly beginning. We've been taught that better routines create better lives. But what if your obsession with building the perfect routine has quietly become your favorite form of procrastination? What if getting ready is the very thing keeping you stuck? There is something strangely satisfying about preparing. Buying a new notebook, downloading a productivity app, watching a video called "How I Wake Up at 5 a.m. Every Day." It feels like you're getting closer to becoming the person you want to be. And that's exactly why preparation is so addictive. Because your brain doesn't always distinguish between preparing to make progress and actually making progress. Think about the last time you reorganized your workspace, or spent an hour creating the perfect schedule, or watched productivity videos instead of working. When you finally finished, you probably felt accomplished. Not because you'd moved your life forward, but because your brain rewarded the intention to improve. That reward is dopamine. Most people think dopamine is the chemical of pleasure. It isn't. It's the chemical of anticipation. It rewards the possibility of progress, sometimes just as much as progress itself. That's why buying a new planner feels exciting. Why creating a color-coded calendar feels productive. Why downloading another habit tracker feels like the beginning of a new life. Your brain celebrates before you've actually earned the result. And that's where the trap begins. Because every hour spent designing the perfect system is an hour you didn't spend confronting the one thing that actually mattered. The difficult conversation, the chapter you needed to write, the business you wanted to start, the video waiting to be edited. Preparation creates the comforting illusion that you're moving forward, while quietly delaying the only thing capable of changing your life: action. But here's what makes this trap so dangerous. Most procrastination doesn't look like procrastination anymore. It looks responsible. It looks ambitious. It looks like someone who's working on themselves. From the outside, you're disciplined, you're organized, you're always planning. But beneath all of that activity, nothing truly changes. Because no matter how beautiful the blueprint is, a blueprint has never built a house. And no routine, no planner, no productivity app has ever completed the work for you. The question isn't whether your routine looks impressive. The question is much simpler. When was the last time it actually produced something? Most people think perfectionism is about having high standards. It isn't. If that were true, perfectionists would produce the greatest work in the world. Instead, many produce nothing at all. Because perfectionism was never about excellence, it was about protection. Think about it. An unwritten book can never receive a bad review. An unpublished video can never be criticized. A business that never launches can never fail. As long as your ideas remain inside your head, they stay perfect. Untouched by reality, untouched by judgment, untouched by failure. The moment you act, that fantasy disappears. Your work becomes real. And once it's real, people can reject it, ignore it, laugh at it. Or worse, they might simply not care. For many people, that possibility feels unbearable. So the mind invents a far more comfortable alternative. I'm just not ready yet. It's one of the most dangerous sentences you'll ever tell yourself, because it sounds responsible, it sounds patient, it even sounds wise. But hidden beneath those words is fear. Not fear of doing the work, fear of discovering whether your work is actually good enough. So instead of risking reality, we stay inside preparation. We adjust the schedule, buy another course, watch another tutorial, rewrite the plan. Not because these things move us forward, but because they postpone the only moment that truly matters. The moment we're forced to confront ourselves. Psychologists sometimes describe this as self-handicapping. It's a strategy where people unconsciously create obstacles, not because they want to fail, but because those obstacles provide an explanation if they do. If the project never starts, you never have to find out what would have happened. If the routine wasn't perfect, you can always blame the routine. If the timing wasn't right, you never have to question your ability. It's a way of protecting your identity at the cost of your future. And that's the cruel irony of perfectionism. The very thing you believe is protecting your potential is quietly preventing you from ever proving it. Every masterpiece, every successful business, every remarkable career began the same way. Not with certainty, not with confidence, but with someone willing to create something imperfect. Because they understood a truth that perfectionists spend years trying to avoid. You cannot improve what you refuse to expose. If you opened YouTube today, you'd find thousands of videos promising the same thing: the ultimate morning routine, the perfect daily schedule, 10 apps that will change your life, the productivity system every millionaire uses. Every week, there's a new planner, a new habit tracker, a new AI tool, a new method, a new system that's supposed to finally unlock the version of yourself you've been chasing. And every one of them asks you to believe the same idea. The reason you're stuck is because your system isn't good enough. It's an incredibly comforting belief. Because if the system is the problem, then you don't have to question yourself. You just need one more adjustment, one more optimization, one more video, one more purchase, one more Sunday spent rebuilding your life. And for a few hours, it feels exciting. A fresh start, a clean slate, a new version of you. But something strange happens. A week later, you're back where you started. Not because the planner was bad, not because the app didn't work, but because no system, no matter how sophisticated, can remove the discomfort of meaningful work. The modern productivity industry often sells certainty. It promises that if you organize your life perfectly, success will become inevitable. But reality doesn't work that way. Writing is still difficult. Building a business is still uncertain. Learning a skill is still frustrating. Having uncomfortable conversations is still uncomfortable. No calendar can make rejection painless. No habit tracker can eliminate self-doubt. No morning routine can do the work on your behalf. And that's why so many people become trapped in what psychologists call productive procrastination. You're busy all day. Your schedule is full. You've answered emails, organized files, updated your calendar, watched educational videos, tweaked your workflow. Maybe you've even convinced yourself you've had a productive day. But if someone asked you one simple question, what did you actually create today? Would you have an answer? Because creating is fundamentally different from preparing. Preparation feels safe. Creation asks something from you. It asks you to risk embarrassment, to make mistakes, to expose your ideas to the world before they're polished. Preparation protects your identity. Creation tests it. And that's why one is addictive, while the other changes your life. Maybe the problem was never that you lacked discipline. Maybe you've simply become addicted to feeling productive instead of becoming productive. There is a cost to perfectionism that almost nobody talks about. It isn't the wasted hours. It isn't the unfinished projects. It isn't even the missed opportunities. The greatest cost is the slow death of self-trust. Think back to the last promise you made to yourself. Tomorrow I'll start. This time I'll stay consistent. Monday will be different. In that moment, you meant every word. You believed yourself. But tomorrow came. Life got busy. The routine fell apart. The work never started. So you made another promise, and another, and another. Most people think these moments disappear. They don't. Your brain remembers every single one. Every promise kept becomes evidence. Every promise broken also becomes evidence. Over time, your mind begins to build a picture of who you are. Not based on your intentions, not based on your ambitions, based on your behavior. Eventually, without realizing it, you stop negotiating with the task. You start negotiating with yourself. Will I actually do this? And somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice answers, probably not. That voice isn't laziness, it's pattern recognition. Because from your brain's perspective, it has watched this movie before. It has seen the perfectly planned mornings, the color-coded schedules, the ambitious habit trackers, the notebooks filled with goals, the declarations that this time will be different. And then, it watched you walk away, again and again, until the words lost their meaning. This is why confidence feels so difficult to build. Confidence isn't created by positive thinking. It's created by accumulated evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your identity changes. Not dramatically, quietly, almost invisibly. You become someone your own mind can rely on. But the opposite is also true. Every time you spend another day preparing, instead of creating, you teach your brain that your plans are just stories. And once your own mind stops believing you, motivation becomes almost impossible. Because why would your brain generate excitement for a future it no longer expects you to pursue? The tragedy of perfectionism isn't that it demands too much. It's that it slowly convinces you that you're the kind of person who never begins. And that is the lie that keeps people stuck for years. If perfectionism has taught us anything, it's that we've confused preparation with progress. We've spent years believing that success belongs to the people with the perfect morning routine, the perfect planner, the perfect workspace, the perfect mindset. But history tells a very different story. Books weren't written because someone finally found the perfect writing routine. Businesses weren't built because someone bought the right productivity app. Masterpieces weren't created because everything felt perfectly aligned. They were created by ordinary people who learned to begin before they felt ready. The truth is, life rarely gives you ideal conditions. Some mornings you'll wake up tired. Some days your motivation will disappear. Some weeks your schedule will fall apart. Real life doesn't care about your perfectly designed system. And if your discipline depends on perfect conditions, it isn't discipline, it's dependency. The people who build extraordinary lives aren't the ones who never lose momentum. They're the ones who never expect life to be perfectly organized in the first place. They understand something that perfectionists often miss. Consistency isn't doing everything. It's refusing to stop because you couldn't do everything. Maybe today you don't have an hour. Work for 20 minutes. Maybe your morning routine fell apart. Start anyway. Maybe your desk is messy. Write anyway. Maybe you don't feel inspired. Create anyway. Because every time you act despite the chaos, you teach your brain something extraordinary. I don't need perfect conditions to move forward. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, your relationship with yourself begins to change. Not because you became more motivated, not because you found a better system, but because your actions finally started matching your words. That's how self-trust is rebuilt, not in one dramatic moment, but through hundreds of ordinary decisions where you prove to yourself, when I say I'll begin, I begin. So tomorrow morning, don't redesign your life. Don't download another app. Don't spend another hour searching for the perfect routine. Ask yourself one question. What's the one uncomfortable thing that actually moves my life forward? Then, before your mind has time to negotiate, do it. Because the goal was never to build the perfect routine. The goal was to build a person who no longer needs one. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. Mind of influence.